Hey, it's Meg. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing some journal with me's in my junk journal for Get Messy's Messy May. I did one of these last week and bundled together sort of the processes for a few different prompts. This week I'm going to be working on days 7, 8 and 9 because when I put the footage together it was quite long and I didn't want this video to be too long, so I've split it up. So as I said, we're going to do days 7, 8 and 9. So the prompt for day 7 was Ghana and the fuller prompt was build a database of colours, patterns, designs and subject matter that you consistently choose. And in the accompanying video, Erin Ware shared a little grid method of collecting different things. So I grabbed one of my stamps that creates a little square, and this is a stamp that I don't actually use that much in my journals. I liked it at the time, obviously, when I got it, but I find it a little bit tricky sometimes to use in my journals. So it was nice to have an excuse to bring this stamp out. So I decided to stamp a 2x3 grid to give myself 6 little samples, and I obviously took this down the collage route and I just started picking out different bits and pieces and assembling some little like sample collages almost in 4 of the grids here. So this 7 here that I cut out of a printable that has a little like embroidery detail on it, that is actually from my stash. I had some printables from Little Raven Ink's Patreon and I just loved these little numbers, so I decided to use one of those and incorporate it into one of the grids so that I had the day for the prompt, but sort of including it without it being a little bit like clunky stamped on, just because of this layout that I had chosen. And then when I'd picked a couple of collage bits that I liked and thought went well together, I simply stapled them together and then glued it into the corresponding square. So this was a really nice task, just to look at how pieces went together. So you can see in the first one I was focusing more on like colour scheme, so picking out the different pinks and how they went together. This one here is a lot more neutral, so I was thinking more around kind of texture, and I also added some cutout lettering there just for a bit of interest. And then I also came in with the Neo Color crayons. Now I'm loving using these at the minute. You'll see me get these out quite a few times throughout this video. I've had them a while and I use them here and there, but not consistently. So that is something that I actually really want to start using a lot more of. I just love kind of the little scribbles that you can add to them, and it's almost like adding a bit of mixed media, but it feels like a nice balance for me. When I've added like collage papers and maybe a bit of like white acrylic paint, to just add those crayons, those like scribbles for texture, it feels like just the right amount of messiness. So I'm loving exploring that recently within my journals, and so I decided to use these little squares as a way to experiment with that and see how I could play with different colours. So again, here I'm coming in with this peachy tone one, which I really like using as well. And then after the 4 boxes, I actually decided that I'd had enough of this page and I wanted a way to be able to add the word Ghana to the page without squeezing it in. So I decided to just grab a felt pen and hand letter it across the bottom of the 2 empty squares, and I still think this left a nice balance on the page, and I love those little clusters there of different mixed media elements. For day 8, the prompt was Alchemy, and this one I was a little bit unsure of, to be honest. I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do. I ended up obviously googling the word just to see what the definition was, to see if that gave me any more ideas or inspiration of where I might want to go with the page, because sometimes it's nice to, well, at least I find it nice anyway, to kind of look at the meaning of the words and the definitions and see if that brings anything out. So the definition was magical process of transformation, creation, combination. Now this kind of helped me to I don't want to say meditate on that fact, but I was sort of thinking about like the transformative power of art and creation and how we kind of meet ourselves where we are in our journals. So that was kind of what I was thinking about as I was doing this collage, which I know sounds really abstract and a little bit woo-woo, which isn't really my style, but I did really like kind of thinking about how that intersects in the way that I show up to my art and my journals. And you'll see there I have a little cutout that was actually from the packaging of my Hobonichi weeks that says "This is my life," so I thought that that would be a perfect fit for this page, and I just picked some collage elements that I liked. Again, sticking with the pink. I just seem to love pink a lot in my journals lately. If you've seen some of my videos recently, you'll know that just seems to be a trend lately, and sometimes it's just like, you know what, I'll just go with it and embrace the pink. This notepad is really cute, and I decided that I wanted to use the pink, obviously, for adding a space where I could write down the prompt and also the definition as well, because that was kind of an important part of the creative process, I suppose, for this page. And I was just thinking about how I could add it, because obviously it was far too big for the journal page itself, and I decided to actually wrap it around and glue it on both sides of the page so that I had something then to kind of work with and respond to the following day as well. Rather than cutting it off, I just sort of glued it on both sides. So I was just sort of playing around here with where I wanted it to sit on the page before I glued it down. I also wanted to add some extra depth and dimension to this page, so there's just a little bit of torn vellum here that I wanted to add to the bottom. It's one of those elements that is really subtle, but I think it made a nice difference to the bottom of the page, because it just felt like something was missing. There was a lot of collage happening at the top, and the bottom just kind of felt like it just ended with that note paper. So I just wanted to add something to, I guess, soften that edge and bridge the gap then, so that all of the composition was straight down the right hand side of the page. And I'm just coming in here with the Hobonichi pen just to write down the word and the definition, as I said earlier, because I just wanted to capture that and have a record of it on the page to kind of remind me what this little scrappy collage was about. But it was also a really nice prompt to work on, just to do a quick like 5-10 minute page. Like obviously this didn't take long at all, but it was nice to keep the momentum going, which I think can be really important for daily month-long challenges like this. And so here is a close-up of the finished page for day 8. So for the next page that we're going to be working on, it's day 9, and the prompt was layers. The fuller prompt was gather at least 4 pieces of ephemera that inspire you and get started on an intuitive and layered journal page or spread. And I love this one, I think just because I like collage, I like layers, ephemera. This was right up my street, so I just decided to grab some papers that I liked and see what came of it. I guess that kind of intuitive element of the prompt, and just let loose and have fun with collage. I love working like this with creating a base of all different papers. So I've got tissue papers, scrap papers, brown papers, and then going over the top with some white acrylic paint to help bring things together and add a sense of cohesion to the page. It just sort of gels it together as a background, and it's just something I really love working with in my journals. So I was really enjoying this prompt of layers.
You look at me like I'm crazy when I shut my feelings out. You look at me like I'm different, still you stay cause you feel something real. Get so lost in my moments, doesn't mean I don't need you. I fell in love with your colors, they kinda tell me what I'm thinking. I fell in love with the way we are and the way we lose it. There's something different about us, and the reason why we stay. We fly around like paper planes, they never know where we will fall. Nobody can see us, still they wanna tear us apart. There's something different about the way we are. There's something different about us. There's something different about us. We're pouring cup after cup after cup. Yeah, it's just the way we do it. Anything just to block out the real life, real life. Yeah, we're loving the way they think we're so messed up. Even if what we're doing is bad, there's so many emotions, sharing stories that we never had. Yeah, none is real. I think we're searching for reasons not to be like them. We fly around like paper planes, they never know where we will fall. Nobody can see us, still they wanna tear us apart. There's something different about the way we are. There's something different about us. There's something different about us. There's something different about the way we are. There's something different about the way we are.
I wanted to add a focal point after I'd added all of my collage elements and made that layered background, so I decided to add a fussy cut floral there on the left hand side, and I mixed up some just cut out leaves and then also some of my favourite rub-on stickers that I had in different like leaf patterns. These are by the brand MU because I get asked all the time where they're from. If you're in the UK, I like to get mine from Miso Paper. There's loads of different designs, and I just love the little touches that they can add to your journal page without adding loads of bulk to the page. And you'll notice that yellow quote there that I mentioned from the previous prompt. I ended up actually forgetting to put it on the page entirely, but I thought that it fit pretty nicely on this page and added a pop of colour to the floral little arrangement that I've got going on there. and I wanted to add the stamped number 9 for this day of the prompt as well. And I kind of felt like there was loads of empty space, but I didn't really know what to do with it. So when in doubt, just cut the page, I guess. And I think it turned out okay, to be honest. I rounded the corners as well of this just to soften it a little bit, and I was actually quite pleased with how that was able to just sort of help there not be too much negative space. So that is everything for today's video of the Messy May prompts. I hope you enjoyed watching this journal process. As always, have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.